Hi everyone, it's Cindy with Create with Cindy's Creations. Happy Wednesday or whatever day that you're watching this tutorial. Camera's bouncing around a few minutes here. Sorry about that. We're going to do some sewing today, just real quick. A tote that you can make for your home, your craft room, or anywhere you want to store things. This is a drying mat. Just drying mat from Dolly Parton, actually. It's one of her designs. And I did purchase this from Dollar General. We're going to make a tote out of this. The other side is this pretty butterflies, and this side's got the flowers. So we're going to just fold it in half. So we're making a little rectangle here, like that. Then we're going to sew all the way up each side. So we're going to sew this side and then this side. And then we're going to cut the bottoms off, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and start sewing. And I can show you real quick. Now I have a Baby Lock sewing machine. It does do quilting, embroidery, and then regular sewing. And I have a bunch of stitches over here, as you can see. So I have it set at, the width is 3.5, which is what the normal width is. And then the length of my stitching is 2.5. And it's just a regular stitch that you would use. If you want it closer stitching, you could just adjust that. But let's go ahead and put this on here, and let's sew this together. It's going to be really cute, I think. So let's get started. I got my presser foot down, as you can see, and I'm going to put my needle down. So I can start out with my needle down. And I think I forgot to take that out of there. Okay, and now we're going to do some back stitching to start out with, so it'll lock my stitches in. Just like that. And I have it set where my needle goes down all the time. It's just the machine I have. So we're going to sew just underneath this little line here on the mat. And I'm just going to sew away. I have a tendency to go fast because I've been sewing for such a long time, but I'll try to do it a little better today, so you can see what I'm doing. I am considering starting some sewing classes this month or 1st of July. I'm trying to get that all set up with how I want to do it. So you'll maybe be able to get some sewing lessons if you're interested in that. So let me go ahead and finish this side. I love sewing. I used to make quilts, and I still do, but not as often. I got more into crafting, but that's okay. So let's sew away. Now you're going to stop and back stitch at the end also, so that your threads don't come apart. Okay, now my needle's down. I'm going to push it up. We're going to lift our the presser foot up, and then I'm going to cut these off. These extra threads. So let's get this cut off over here so you can't see. This is going to be really cute. Really cute. So now I have that sewn here on the side, and you can see I got it sewn together. Now we're going to do this side over here the same way. If you wanted to make this a smaller tote, you can. You just have to adjust the pattern. It's not like a pattern, but you just have to adjust the size of what you want. And I would sew it before you cut it, just so that it all stays together. So let me get up here, foot down, and we're going to sew again. Sometimes when you first start sewing, it's going to get stuck in there sometimes because if it's too thick. Plus this is foam in between here, but these are the dish drying mats. This is a Dolly Parton pattern, and I did get it from Dollar General. I think I took the last one they had today, unless they didn't have them all out. So I'm trying to make this kind of slow, not so long of a tutorial, but I still want to show you how to do the ends. How to make it into actually a pouch kind of thing. Okay, I'm at the other end, so let's take this up. I need more room on my table over here. Okay. So let's cut these threads off here at the top. I'm going to put it over to this side. So now we have like a pouch, as you can see. So next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take the corners and I'm going to push it down. So I'm going to kind of match it to the bottom, and we're going to make a little triangle like this. And I normally have a little ruler here. It's a 6-inch ruler, and I'm going to measure in, I think, 5 inches. Let me see. Maybe we'll do 3. Okay, let's do a 3-inch from here. Hopefully you can see this to here. So we're going to sew up here on this end. Let me get some pins over here. Okay, got a couple stick pins, and we're going to pin right where the end is here. I'm going to pin there, and I'm going to pin on the other side. Now you can make this as tall or as skinny as you want, but I think 3 inches is there. So we're going to go across, we're going to sew right across here, and then we're going to cut this off. I just want to make sure I have it in the center, and we're going to push it down and go over here and sew. Let's see. Make sure my thread is in the back so it doesn't come threaded on me. Okay. You can also take a fix-around pen. It's a erasable pen, ink pen. Put heat to it, and it'll go away if you don't want to have that. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and start this. Now I am going to have this so the seam is open. So what I just sewed, I don't want it to be together. I want it to be open so it'll be flat. So we're just going to sew on. And you can hear that it's hitting through the foam. Now I just lifted my foot up to make this go flat. Now if you want to, you can go over this again because it is another seam. So I'm just back stitching. Go all the way to the end. And back stitch. Raise your presser foot up. Cut your thread off. So now I have this little triangle here, as you can see. Get my threads here so I can get them cut off. Take my pins out. We're going to do the same thing to the other side over here. So we're making a little basket kind of thing. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm in the center here. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I mean, you can do it however you want to do it. Like, what did I do with my, here it is. Let's measure up 3 inches again on here. Put my pin in here, bring it up, and do the same thing to the other side. If you want this to be taller, you could do it, you know, so you can do any size you want. Make any size you want, because you can see we're making a little tote. I hope I have enough thread in my bobbin. Okay, I think we're going to be right there. I'm trying to see where this is. No, we got to go up a little more. Okay. Putting my needle down, and we're going to start sewing. I'm going to back stitch so you can make sure your stitching stays secure. Now, I normally don't run over my pins, but this is so thick, I don't think there's going to be a problem with that. But I generally would lift my presser foot up, take my pins out, but I think this is going to be okay. If it was thinner fabric, I would stop and take my pins out. Back stitching again. Cut my threads. Take my pins out. Now we have a basket. See how it's like a shape as a basket to bottom? I am going to cut these off because they're pretty thick. And we're going to zigzag across there just to keep it together. So I'm cutting this little bit off. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So if you're interested in learning how to sew, I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Simple projects at first, and then we'll advance to more. If you're a beginner sewer, that's fine. I can teach you about your machine. Now I'm going to go ahead and change this to a zigzag stitch. Let's do that one. And I can up my stitching here. So hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. And all I'm doing is going across here on the edge, making sure I catch this edge over here. Sometimes you have to lift your foot up, make sure everything gets down in underneath. This is something you don't have to do, but I do it because I think it just makes it much nicer of a finished edge on here. You know, like I said, sometimes you just have to adjust your sewing. Can you still see what I'm doing? I hope so. Starting to come up again, so let me push it right down. So let me cut that off. Cut my excess threads off. So now you have a seam that's sewn together really flat. So let's do this side real quick. And I'm going to turn it inside out, and we're going to show you how this turns out. Now my machine will work without me using the presser foot. I can unhook it and just press the start button and it'll go. But I usually don't do too much of that because I want to have more control over when I stop. Because I don't know if this camera angle is good or not. You'll have to let me know what you think. Now you don't have to use these dish mats. You could use a plain ones if you have another brand or something with a different design on it. You could use that. So now we have this one. Okay, so now we have our little tote bag, as you can see. I'm going to turn it, and then we're going to flip the top down and make it a real cute, like a double-sided basket. Okay, so here we go. See the basket? There's the bottom. And I hope I made it even. I may not have. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much so. Okay, so here's our little bag. Now I'm going to take this top part and we're going to fold it down. So it's going to be like a two-tone basket. If you want to leave it up, you can. I am going to take a piece of cardboard and put it in the bottom of it. Let me move these things. Let me move my sewing machine back a little bit. So now you have a little tote bag. Isn't that cute? You can set your supplies in here if you have anything that you want to put in here. for your kitchen, your laundry room. You can put it in your laundry room on the shelf. Put your dryer sheets in here or lost socks, anything like that. You could do that, but isn't that cute? So here we go. We have a little, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard down in here in the bottom so it would stay. But here's our little basket. Isn't that cute? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you later. This is Cindy with Create with Cindy's Creations. Bye.